Oh, and also I want to add, I really thought you guys might like this gameplay because it's one of those games where you just in your head you just say, "What the fuck happened?" I'm putting this in the front of the video possibly because uh, when I was doing this, I did the audio and then I just realized that this was the gameplay where it's pretty phenomenal what happened. It was one of those games where I'm not going to spoil it for you. It's just you watch the results of each match, and I try to speed through everything so you're not watching boring shit. But it's really interesting, and give me some feedback on what you think about the game because I thought the outcome was crazy. It was so like I mean my score was way up there, but it was just the game ended out pretty rough. Hey people, it's me Ben, I'm one, and up for another episode of The Trainer, and I know it's been a while since I've done it, so I'm going to try to be a little bit more brief than most of these other ones have been, because I mean I know I drag on for about 10 minutes on them, so this one's going to be a little short and sweet. But I wanted to talk about the aspect of playing Search and Destroy while using counter UAV. Now, most of the time when you're going to be using support kill streaks, the biggest misconception that I thought is that you need to have 3 kill streaks listed and then you can use them. And I've seen it happen quite a few times, and it's like, when you're playing something like Search and Destroy or maybe a team deathmatch, you don't really have time to be racking up the high kill streaks, and even then, I only use the double of kill streaks that you see right now, which is UAV and counter UAV, because I wanted to go over a quick description of how the counter UAV can actually be more effective in Search and Destroy than the UAV. Now, I mean, obviously, if you're a pro player, this is not going to affect you at all because you're going to already have an understanding of how to play Search and Destroy and how to, constant map patterns, I guess you could say, because people tend to follow the same 3 lanes, and they usually follow in patterns that you can pick up quite fast. And if you're playing non-MLG, then you're probably going to be using Recon, which you really should be using because that's the easiest way to figure out where people are. But just think now, if somebody's using Recon on you because you're not playing real, actual professional matches, you're going to need, a counter UAV to block off being seen. And if some asshole keeps flash or stun tagging you, the chances are you're going to be pretty seen by everyone because Recon's going to hit you, your map's going to be, their map's going to display where you are, which way you're facing, and all that jazz. Now, one of the biggest things I wanted to say with this is that I've always thought that people using the UAV in Search and Destroy are quite ignorant, for that matter, because let's take a look at something for a second there. As soon as the match starts, let's say we're second round into the game, somebody has a UAV, and as soon as they spawn, they click that button to turn on the UAV, you're probably effectively wasting about 3 seconds of UAV time up there, because you can look at it from 2 different aspects, is to say that there's obviously going to be at least 1 to 2 people who are using Assassin, and therefore it renders it kind of ineffective if you're going down a pathway which looks like there's nobody there. So you're going to be on your guard all the way and constantly always just looking around, making sure nobody's there. And then the other thing is that if you're using the UAV as soon as you spawn, the time it takes for you to run up to whatever position you're going to take, in your mind you've already pretty much determined where you're going to be going when the round starts. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to go this way and take on this tactic to try to kill this guy in this hallway because I know that most of the time when people spawn and they run at you, they come from this specific area. So in that time that you've been thinking about that, that's usually your waiting period, and as soon as you start the match or round, you shouldn't be using your UAV right off the bat or counter UAV right off the bat because you're wasting about 4 seconds, 3 to 4 seconds of running there. And now 3 to 4 seconds may not be a lot to most people, but it is really an effective time management type deal. And UAVs are really most potent at the very beginning because you got 6 people on your team, chances are 5 of them are at least good, 1's going to suck. That's usually the general principle, is that there's 1 bad player in almost every SNG game. And so what you're going to do by using the UAV a few seconds later is that instead of tracking where people are going, you're going to know who's already gone in whichever lanes that you may be going, and therefore giving people a little bit more concise idea of where they're going to be or where they might be camping. Now, I mean, it's a two-sided coin. You can you want to find out where the majority of them are going and take your defensive stance where they're going, or you can use it when they've already gone somewhere and you already know where they are and you can take your chances on fighting against them even though they've already secured a position for themselves. And how the counter UAV affects that is because if they have, by some miracle, Recon, or if they have UAV, or if they have an advanced UAV by some miracle, you already have the ability to block that out from their sight. Now, it doesn't play off as well as you would think it would, but it is effective when the enemy team is usually going to use a UAV. So you got to think about it from that term, is that using the UAV to your advantage while taking a counter UAV and blocking whatever chance of them seeing you. So it's a double pathway. They're walking blind if you use a UAV at the very beginning, or no, a few seconds after, and they've just finished running where they are and their positions are secured, and they're going to use a UAV and try to figure out where you are. Then you have the counter UAV up, and that way you already know where they are, but they can't see you. It's a really big mind trick in this whole situation, and one of the biggest things is that it's, if you think about it, if you have a UAV and then you have a counter UAV with your support class, is that when, just assuming they have a UAV as well and you have a UAV, it's going to take you 1 kill to block off their vision. And that's not too much at all. That's a pretty good amount for having to block off 4 kills or however many plants or whatever they need to do. It's just all thinking about it, and you got to take everything into consideration. Is to say, obviously maybe a ballistic vest might be better, but a ballistic vest really doesn't help you too much unless the enemy team is like sniping or if they're using shotguns. And even then, shotguns and regular assault rifles and submachine guns, the chances are you're pretty much gonna get taken down. A ballistic vest maybe gives you about an extra 10, 15 life. I don't know the actual number behind it, so don't quote me on this. But if you're doing something like that, obviously you're going to want to have at least one player with a counter UAV, or 2 players with a counter UAV, and 1 player with a ballistic vest, and then your other 2 can be your specialist or assault class people with predator missiles. And it's just like, if you're thinking in a 6-man team, then obviously you're going to want to take on what tactically is going to help you the most. And this is my suggestion, so I suggest you try it out. And remember that the other part of this conversation, which is using the UAV a few seconds later when the round started. That way you're not wasting about 3 or 4 seconds in the game. I mean, it's not much, but it's an entire wave streak, so you can figure out where people are. And I hope you like the suggestions in this one. So I'll see you guys later.
Enemy Cobra incoming. Enemy UAV spotted. We have secured the bomb. Defeat. We must fight harder next time. Overtime. Search and destroy. Destroy it. We have secured the bomb. UAV recon standing by. UAV spotted.